Welcome to another episode of Careful Boys. I wanted to ask you if, you know those moments where you are in class or something and something's so funny but you can't laugh because you'll get in trouble? When is the last time that's happened to you as an adult where you really wanted to laugh but this was not the time or place and you had to hold it?
Bart said, that then.
It's a lot of it has happened.
Let's talk about that because people will be able to look back at something now because of that.
No, it was when Min from What's the Mortgage was here, or Ask Min Win, and he was just talking about something he did in Tustin, but he just said it really quick and high, and honestly the way he said it wasn't funny. He was just like, he goes, oh yeah, in Tustin. But then for some reason, Bart just was like, that's that.
But it's also because he's talking about all the Chinese people in Tustin. So I just said Tustin like how a Chinese person would say it. Like I was like, oh, that.
But it just seemed like he was just making fun of him real quick. But he just said it so funny.
He said it so fast.
And then me and Nick just caught each other looking.
And I see this dude busting up, and I'm just like, it was so dumb.
But he was just mid-story still, so I didn't want to like for real laugh. But this guy started laughing too.
That's another thing why it was funny because Min didn't stop telling the story.
I thought I was the only one that heard it.
These two guys were just like.
Min's like, I bet this is going pretty well.
He actually looked and was like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, what's going on? What the hell?
Like, dude, mid-story, this guy's like,
Not that.
Yeah, because
It was such a reflex. Not that.
Yeah, I asked him like, where in Orange County was it? And Min was just looking like Tustin, and then Bart right after Tustin.
Was this a day 2 video or a day 1?
Nah, this is like first half. It was like 10 a.m.
No excuse.
We have no scapegoat for that.
It was like 10:30. Yeah.
It was so dumb.
But I feel like editors won't cut to you guys because I mean he just kept talking, so it's not gonna. No one will see that.
That tends to happen.
But you might see because I'm sitting next to him. You're gonna see me looking at these guys like, what the fuck are you doing?
and then at the end, I was like, fuck it, dude, we already gave too much. So I was like, where did you say it happened again?
Not that.
It's such a like lowbrow humor moment that you had to laugh. Yeah,
I like it.
Very childish.
that was good. That's a good. I'm glad you thought of that because that was funny. So stupid. Anybody have any others?
I had one recently, but I'm trying to remember the situation. If somebody said something kind of fucked up, and I just started laughing, dude, and I just couldn't. Okay, this is what happened.
Yeah.
My neighbor, he has special needs, and he was taking out the trash cans.
Because you made him.
Because I made him. This is a fucking stupid thing. Okay, anyway. But I was talking to him outside, and he was telling me that he tried out for Love on the Spectrum. And he was like,
What?
yeah, he tried out for it. And I was like, oh, cool. So I go back in the house, and I'm talking to Tiff. And I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, you know, his name is Nick as well. And I was like, hey, you know, Nick tried out for Love on the Spectrum. And she looked at me and was like, are you making a fucking joke right now? And right when she said that, I laughed because I was trying not to laugh because I knew if I started laughing, it's gonna sound like
You're doing a bit.
I said that as a joke, and he really didn't say that at all. But in reality, he really did say that. And Tiff was looking at me like disgusted, and I'm like, how the fuck do I navigate this?
Would that joke be that disturbing to Tiff? If you had just made
Does Tiff watch this show, dude?
Yeah, but it's like in that moment, it was just like because it's like we're having a normal conversation. It's not like we're not like joking around.
Oh,
yeah, we're not doing. This is just like I was like, yeah.
But then also, yeah, imagine he didn't actually audition and he just decided to go and be like, hey.
Yeah, but then Tiff was like, she's like, that's a joke you would say though, and I was like, no, I wouldn't, dude. I was like,
is he like a really nice guy? Is that what?
He's the best.
Okay, then that yeah.
We
They're
love
always
him
the
on the
best.
block.
They're always the best.
No, he's the sweetest kid ever, bro. And we're always looking out for each other. You know, we're neighbors and shit, right? But she said that, and I started laughing because I was like, fuck, now you really don't believe anything I said. And then I told him that he said, I guess they're only letting autistic people on the show. And I was like,
That sounds. Wait, you said that?
no, that's what he said. Nick said this to me right after, and I said that to her.
That sounds like another joke.
That sounds like a joke. It's like when you go, oh, I didn't know only gay guys wear black sweaters. It sounds like that.
And I said that to her, and then she was like, stop. She was like, fucking stop. And I laughed again, and then I'm trying to like...
Your reputation is strong.
What a scumbag. He's
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck? She goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, no. And I explained to her the whole situation.
Keep tagging the joke.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it just sounds worse every time I say something, but this is just really what happened. And she eventually, I eventually convinced her after 20 minutes. And then she goes, Okay, and that was the end of the conversation. But the whole time I was like, "Damn, you think I'm a piece of shit, huh?"
Yeah.
And if you laughed, it would have broken all.
No, I did laugh, and then every time I laughed, she was like, "Stop making a fucking," and I was like, "I'm not making a joke. This is literally a conversation."
It's so factual.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. But I just knew that she had me fucking dead to rights.
Damn. That's what you get, dude.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I gotta stop making so much jokes probably.
man.
I gotta like kind of chill out, because that kind of got me in trouble.
It does sound like a perfect thing you'd make fun of.
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect joke we would do here, but no,
Yeah.
we wouldn't though.
Especially like all low-hanging fruit, I believe we're joking.
100%. But people won't know that. But I don't even want people to know that.
Especially when Steve goes, huh, and then gets canceled.
How dare you, Stephen Paul Greene? There was a thing recently. I had officiated my cousin's wedding in the Philippines, and so I co-officiated with my really older cousin who's like in his, I don't know, almost 90.
How do you co-officiate?
Because he does all the religious prayer stuff, I do all the jackass stuff, and then so like we're trading off, and then once it's time to do like a serious like ceremony part where they do like some union thing, he's really old, so he started to like choke, like he like went down the wrong pipe. But then he was so committed to speaking and continuing, but not just like stopping and clearing your throat.
He's trying to push through it.
Don't be a pussy.
And then I'm just in the side, like I'm trying not to laugh because this fool's like really hanging on and just like he's just going. It doesn't even sound like words anymore. And then I'm looking for anyone in my family in the audience who's like not about to laugh, so that I don't laugh. And every single one of them was like trying to hold it, going like this. And it went for a really long time. And then one of my cousins comes up with a water bottle, like from the audience, to give it to him.
Yeah.
He's still trying to talk. And then my cousin puts the water bottle to his mouth and forgets to tilt it. And so the whole time my cousin's just like, and nothing's happening. And then he takes a drink. We listen on the mic to him drinking water. And then he goes, it's worse. Want to hear it?
Of course, Omicron's secretly filming
This
it.
is like from the actual wedding. Listen.
The joy that find each other. Please give them strength.
What the fuck?
To keep their vows as they have made. Cherish and be faithful and devoted.
My boy's getting waterboarded.
Help them to support each other with patience and honesty. Teach them to be with.
It sounds like someone's interrogating him. He's being waterboarded.
Bro. And so he's drinking water right now, okay? Listen to how much worse he gets after drinking water.
We pray for their parents that at this moment of parting that they may rejoice in their children's and thank you for the
That's not how he sounds normally at all. He just sounds like a regular person. So for context, the reason why people are going like this in my family, right? Like it's not just that they're trying not to laugh. This dude, he's a pastor, he's a retired pastor, okay? So he has done a million sermons. He, at one point in his life, he had a heart attack in the middle of a sermon.
Oh shit.
So most of my family was like, if this dude is about to have a heart attack, it's gonna ruin this entire, it will immediately become about that. So everybody was like crossing their fingers that this fool was just gonna like
Did he
snap
make it
out of
through?
it. Yeah, and he made it through, but like,
Maybe he even thought he was about to have a heart attack, so he wants to finish the speech before it happens.
God, so it was like, that moment had so much cooked into it that we were all just like looking at each other like, God damn, dude.
Yo, that sounds
really
funnier
funny,
than
Holy shit.
the reality sounds way funnier.
And it's like a beautiful wedding by the shore. Everything's like gorgeous, and the whole time, and that's very like typical for our family that something funny like this should happen. But we didn't want to laugh also because the other side of the family doesn't know any of the context or why this is risky or funny.
That's crazy. He has so much experience in this, and he didn't go like, excuse me.
Because he thought he was gonna die.
Power through. Got power.
Because it sounded like he just, I need to get this out.
He's a real pro.
Yeah, I think he's also very stubborn, so like he's not gonna like stop and you know.
He goes, oh, that's just a little cough, no more.
Yeah.
And then he keeps going, oh, that's another cough. That's the last one.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. So like after the ceremony, like the other family was just like, "Is your cousin okay?" Because like I made a joke too that like we're literally like first cousin, but he's like almost 90. Like,
He's your
we're
cousin?
Cousin, straight up. Like his mom is my
the
dad's
fuck?
sister.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
What are
You
laughing
got a
at?
90-year-old cousin?
He asked if you dated him.
Mind of a child.
You asked if I dated him?
No, because you dated.
And then he laughed his ass off.
You're like, we were literally first cousins. And I was like, do you date him? And this guy looks at me, he's like, you fucking ass.
If he has to say that to you?
He still smiled.
Look, it's just such a cheap bit.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. of
Oh,
how
cheap
it was.
bits. So you can't do
I
cheap
love
bits.
cheap bits. I love cheap bits.
Okay, well, what the fuck? You know,
I just
that
couldn't
one-
believe how cheap it was. It was in the dollar fucking rack.
Like, come on.
That's a swap meet bit.
It was like 3 for $1.
This guy's walking in and say, hey, our neighbor tried out for level inspection.
Yeah, that was a
That was just true, though. That was just true.
I'm with Tiff on that one.
That was just true.
Stop.
That was crazy.
We were
Not a
watching-
bit because it's true.
I came inside and we were literally watching Love on the Spectrum. And I told her that. And I was like, do you know Nick tried out for the show?
It's pretty funny to
We were watching that. We were watching season 3 or whatever.
It's pretty funny to imagine you as a cold joker in that moment.
Well, Tiff just looked at me with such disgust, but I was like, oh, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm a piece of shit. And she's right. This never happened. I didn't talk to Nick at all.
Did you date? That's pretty funny, Anthony.
Every time I think about not laughing and being like, oh shit, I was like seeing this girl and she was having like Hanukkah thing, and then her whole family's there and her grandma's there and her great grandma's there and like the whole family's there, and then like they're doing the lighting of the menorah. And someone lets the dog in the room, and the dog, he's so happy and shit that he starts wagging his tail, and this is on the dining room table, and he just puts out every single candle in the menorah. I couldn't believe this was actually happening, because that's like the whole thing about the religion is like the oil survived.
Yeah, that's like a cartoon.
And so I was laughing so hard that I was crying, and I couldn't stop. Because I'm a child in my brain. Yeah, and I just laughed and laughed the whole time, and it was really weird because I laughed the whole time.
What happens? Do they just relight?
Eventually, yeah. Once, I was done howling.
Oh,
You were the only one laughing at it.
No, thankfully I had another buddy of mine who was there who was also finding it very funny. But it was just so rude to laugh.
Yeah.
As hard as we were laughing.
The Nordic candles going out? Damn.
Dude, it was insane. Well, because it was also like perfect too, because it was like day 6 or some shit, so it's like a lot of candles going out
Happy little
at the same time, yeah. And the dog's just a golden retriever, just being like, hey, everybody, hey, and like just wags the.
That's almost like a meet the parents scene.
I know exactly. I'd never seen anything like it in my life, and it was just so actually awkward that I was laughing at how awkward it was.
one time I had to go to the bathroom when I was training somebody, and because I had to leave because I had to remove myself from the situation, and it was something small. It happens all the time, but my client was picking up something, and he just let a little fart out, and it
Oh no.
was just a little, and I just
Oh no.
when he picked it up, I just couldn't like.
You tooted.
He didn't acknowledge. He didn't acknowledge.
He was just like, oh, excuse me, and I was like,
That's even worse. That's even worse. When you're polite.
Don't say it.
but you could tell he was a little flustered. He was like, oh, like he felt a little embarrassed, and I didn't want to make him feel bad, so I just was like, and I had to like cover up my face a little bit. And it's like it's hard because you're trying to be professional and shit. You're like, Yeah, just like 10 reps there, and I was like, I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick, and I had to just fucking like cry in there for a sec. I had to like gain it because it's like part of the reason why I'm laughing is like, God, are you like you, Steve? Like, are you a fucking child? Like, it was just it was a tiny little fart. Like, that's all it is. That happens.
You laughed though.
Are there people that, like, to be honest, are there people that just don't laugh at that at all? When it happens for real?
I think when it happens to them,
When it happens for real, though.
like when they're embarrassed,
Stiffs don't.
it's like when they're embarrassed and shit.
I thought that's like a genetic thing that when you hear it, your carnal side just wants to.
It just hearing that sound out of nowhere is.
That's like passed down through thousands of years.
Especially when you're not
This isn't the gen that it's freaking
I
fixed.
feel like if you lived in Malibu in one of those beach houses, you wouldn't laugh at that shit.
Yeah.
You have to.
What are they laughing at then?
No, those stiffs.
Not when they're farting. If they're farting, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
If I'm picking up a kettlebell and I fart in,
I can imagine that. Like, do you think a room full of girls don't laugh when one girl farts?
oh, I think
They have to laugh.
They for sure laugh.
Because they've also been holding it this whole time. They don't want to let in fucking guys.
But are girls better at like, preserving your embarrassment?
Are girls?
Girls might be better at preserving actually in that moment and then talking mad shit in the locker room.
That's not so. I think remember. Imagine like a chick sitting in a wedding dress or some shit, and her bridesmaids are there, and then she like toots real quick, and then like one of the bridesmaids laughs, and they go through the wedding and stuff, and then like later on during the night, she's like fucking crying in the corner and shit, and then she's like, "Can you believe fucking Macy was fucking laughing when I fucking farted on accident? Like fuck this bitch." And then all the other girls are like joining in, piling on, like, "Oh my god, this fucking cunt! I can't believe this shit. I would never. Oh my god, this is your fucking day, girl.
I would never laugh.
Oh my god, that was fucking crazy." And then she's like, "Yeah, I can't believe." She said like, "Wow, sounded like a wet one." What a fucking little bitch. Right?
Wow, that was a wet one.
And that girl just gets excommunicado from the whole thing. And she doesn't even know it yet either. She's just like enjoying your time with her boyfriend. It's so fun. Hope I catch the bouquet. This bitch throws it diagonally the other direction just to make sure she knows, like, subtly. Oh, I'm not cool with you anymore.
Diagonally the other direction.